2, 1, go. Hello, friends.
Hello.
Hi, girls.
Hi, girl.
Are we introducing ourselves real quick?
Oh,
Sure.
I'm Annie. Nice to meet you.
Jamie.
I'm
Christy,
Annie. Oh,
Annie.
I'm Annie.
Christy. I'm Christy Annie.
And I'm Ashley. And we are going to talk about how to get the most out of your essential oils, basically, right, girls? Like,
Yes.
what we want to discuss going way back. How we've been doing this thing for like 8+ years, most of us. I mean, me 8+, them even more.
Yeah.
And gosh, how did we get all of the information that led us to using oils kind of like medicine in our houses, right? This is our medicine cabinet. So want to go there and give everybody some good websites they can go to get the same resources that we got back in the beginning. The internets are full of information, but sometimes it's not very accurate and maybe a little scary. So we want to give you good, solid resources. And the reason you can't find stuff on the internet that is as poignant as what we want to draw you to is because of a little thing called FDA compliance. So you guys, you remember when FDA compliance really cracked down on us. Remember the free-for-all that we had before the FDA compliance situation happened? We could kind of talk about anything. We could say, like, if you have a sore throat, if you have strep throat, if you have, this certain stomach bug, then do this, this, and this. And we kind of got into this territory, remember, where we were diagnosing and curing people, basically was what we were doing, which was way outside of our bounds. We're not supposed to do that. But we can share stories, okay? So sharing our stories is a really good way of getting information into each other's hands. But we're not supposed to really give people prescriptions of oil protocols, which cramped our style a little bit because that's what we really like to do. So the things that can do that are the books that we find, that we get our hands on, books, websites, testimonial sites, and like reference guide apps. So let's dive in. I guess the first question is, you guys, what was the first thing you guys got your hands on to help you? Like when you first got your oils, what did you use to even know how to use them?
So when I first got my oils, I was in a women's Bible study with some girlfriends who had also just gotten some oils. And one of them went to Goodwill and found this, the essential oil pocket reference.
Goodwill?
And she found it at Goodwill and she brought it to Bible study and we freaked out because we were like, this is awesome. It literally tells you how to use the oils and what every oil is possible, like that you can use it for. And then you can also look stuff up, like specific issues that you might be having. So for instance, let me find a page in here. Sciatica.
Okay. Or like gas and bloating.
I know
or earache.
What to do for sciatica. It's right here.
Everything.
Trigger finger. I mean, crazy the things that is in here. And it's all alphabetical. Well, anyway, so she brought this to Bible study and we were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And so we were like, well, where do we get one? Because my Goodwill doesn't have what you're
It is blowing my mind that she found that at Goodwill.
Yeah, she found it at Goodwill. And so then I think I must have asked Christy, my friend had this oily Bible, that tells you everything to do. I need to get one of those. Where do I get it? So that was my first introduction to knowing that they're oils weren't just these little bottles that someone thinks might do something. This has actual research studies. It has specific, it tells you the chemistry of, this is crazy. So this is the first thing that I saw.
So my first story goes along with that. So I'm gonna tell it real fast.
Yeah.
So that little book she just held up, she must have found it before she came to my house and introduced me to oils. This is my sister-in-law, right? So she comes over, she's got oils and she has that little magical Bible. And I didn't know anything about oils. And I was like, we were sniffing them all. And I was like, I think that one just took my headache away, but I don't know. And it was called Panaway. And she was like, it probably did because it's called Panaway and that means pain goes away. So my headache went away. And then I had this really terrible, while she was at my house, terrible bout with vertigo.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't I can't walk straight. Like, I don't want to stand up. I'm getting a little sick from feeling dizzy. And I laid down on my bed and I told my husband, I was like, go ask Jamie what she's like, go tell her to look in that little book thing and see if she's got anything that can help me. And so she looked and she said, the only oil I have that they recommend for vertigo is frankincense. So here it is. And you're supposed to smell it. And you're supposed to like, just smell it, just inhale it. So I put a little on my hand, inhaled it, and the vertigo went away within 5 minutes and never, ever, ever came back.
Wow.
So that's the first way that I knew that oils were more than just smelly goods. And I knew how to get the information, and it was that book. So of course I buy the oils and I buy the book together, and you know, it's been history ever since. So that was my first time.
So I'm going to drop in here something that impacted us all in the beginning, and that was Facebook groups, right? Our community of people. So I'm saying it because Jamie, my method when I began building and sharing and enrolling people was I would put people, even who were interested in the oils, who hadn't purchased yet, I would put them in a Facebook group where I was educating about all things oils, and it was pre-crackdown FDA. So I was talking about the flu, I was talking about colds, I was talking about, you know, all the things to support our bodies in these times of need. And I remember Jamie was in there and I started talking about, it was fall season, and I started talking about cold and flu, and the subject of flu shot came up and whatever. And she just asked some questions, you know, on that specific comment feed about what to do. And I simply, you know, told her about thieves, and I probably pointed her to, you know, some resources about thieves and what it does. And that was one of the ways that we learned when it was early on was let's talk to people about what is working. And so what I want to say about that is we can't be public necessarily about that anymore, again, because once social media came on the scene and we started using it in business and with Young Living, the FDA had like an open door to find out what we were saying and how we were saying it and all of the things. So we don't really talk about, you know, diagnosing, curing, any of that kind of stuff anymore, or even remedies. Use this for this. We don't talk about that publicly or on social media anymore, but find the places where you can, because this is wisdom that needs to be passed down. So when I am in conversations with someone who's just starting to use the oils, you better believe I'm saying, oh my word, okay, you have this going on, then let's look in the book. And this is, you know, this is what you should use. You should use this for this. And I am recommending, it's a remedy. It's wisdom we've passed down because we've used it. And I will always say, this might not be for you. This is what I have done. You know, you have to know what is right for you. Try it if you feel comfortable, blah, 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 you know, but it was that Facebook group I remember too early on where we were talking about all the things, learning all the things, you know.
Well, and when the FTC thing started, remember we had to go back in our groups and remove stuff. We had to go to our Pinterest boards, anything that we started the information, we had to remove, like our name, Young Living's name. I mean, we had to
big drama.
delete it. Yeah, it was a big drama. And so then when, you know, the interwebs, like it, now when you search, you don't maybe always get factual information. And so, you know, hearing a testimony or getting like these books, you know, is sometimes better. Like, you know, Christy, you had said, if someone sent you a recipe, like from Pinterest or something, okay, well, just do your own research, make sure it's legit.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, anybody can put anything on Pinterest.
Yeah.
So Annie enrolled me and she put some early resources in my hands. And you guys, this is something that it's a non-compliant resource, which just means that it has, you know, all the words in it, all the things you're looking for: headache, cold, flu, insect bites, sore throat, you know, it has all the things. So it's 117 uses for the everyday oils kit. And so I hung this on my refrigerator when I got my initial kit of 7 or 9 oils. It wasn't nearly what the kits are today. And I was like, I want to intentionally start learning about what if I get a headache, instead of going to the Tylenol, what can I do? And so the simple little things, the daily things we all deal with, or our children, simple little things that our children deal with, was in this little booklet. So easy and fast, but this is how I dipped my toes in and stopped using over the counter or, you know, chemical things, and looked for an alternative first, like the first line of defense.
Mhm.
This is how I dipped my toes in. So it doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to be, it can be a little resource that, you know, that you find. Again, this one isn't, Annie has a handful of them. So if you really want one, you can probably.
Annie, Annie went big. Annie went big
Well.
on.
I was like, I'll take 10,000. Thank you.
So I know Jordan Schrant, her website, she has a magazine that she produced that is all about using oils, and it is full of recipes, like probably the similar to what's in that. And that is something you could go and find and buy now. Another book, okay, besides these awesome, and by the way, this Oily Bible I thought was so great that I actually ended up getting the desk version. And the desk version was like, this was like amazing, blew my mind. This rocked my world
Yeah.
because it has everything in it
Yeah.
that you could ever want to know. And you guys, the thing about them is because of that whole FDA stuff, they're getting a little more compliant every version. So I started with the 5th edition. It's probably still my most go-to version. I think they're up to the 8th edition now or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ashley, you got it earlier. You have it. It's like,
Well, it's the new version of
Yeah.
the thing. So now this is the first edition of,
Oh,
but maybe Christy's got. This
Yeah.
is 9th or
This
something.
is 6, but I
Yeah.
also have one that's like way back.
If
well,
you guys
so
can
my-
find
the-
early editions of these
the
particular
point
reference
is the
books,
earlier the edition you
Yeah.
can get your hands on, they're kind of expensive, but the more non-compliant they are. This is the second.
Yeah, I have that
And
one.
this actually even has protocols for like the big C,
Yep.
all
Yep.
kinds of stuff. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
amazing.
But
I was gonna say, I mean, we're gonna mention a lot of books here
Yeah.
and a lot of resources. If you're like, I can only get one of these. Get like this, it's big, you guys, it's big. It's like a whole wellness manual. It's incredible, but it's that one that you can look up by topic. And it
Yeah.
has protocols that are insane. And it's just, I mean, like autism, hiccups, hemorrhoids,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's the best.
So
These
a
books.
competitive resource to that, which I would point you toward the life science one that they're just showing you right now, because it has all of the Young Living blends, singles, all that, like it's very Young Living specific. So
yeah, it's
because
based
we're
off of
using-
Gary's research.
based off Gary's research, there it
Yeah.
is. So unfortunately, when you have a good thing, the highest form of a compliment is to reproduce a good thing.
Copying.
And there was a team called the Higleys, Connie and Annie and I. So
You have that too.
this is available. You can go to is it on abundanthealthforyou.com, I
Yeah,
want to say.
And Amazon, it's on there too.
And Amazon. So this one I found simpler to navigate
Mm-hmm.
than the one they just
Oh.
showed you,
I like to go back and forth between the two, honestly.
Oh, good.
but back
feel
and
good
forth.
about
And this one does not have the volumes of research that
Mhm.
Gary specifically wrote and put into that basically encyclopedia, right, that they just showed you. But
Yeah.
this one is a quick, like, look
Yeah.
up hay fever, look up allergies, look up, it's a kind of more of a
And
a
both-
quick guide.
Both of these, that one and the Life and Science, have an app, which is nice because I like to be able to just look stuff up on my phone and send screenshots to people who are asking me questions.
Yes. I used to just keep mine open on my counter, and when
Mhm.
people wouldn't come over, it's like, what, warts, colds, whatever. I was just all this information.
That's the Life and Science.
Yeah,
Okay.
Christy's got the app up.
Always tells me my login was successful.
Yeah.
So there's a couple.
So
This
one
one
is
I think you
called
have to get through the website. That one I think you can get through the App Store.
this.
So what is that called again? So people can go right to the app.
It's the
store?
Life and Science. I think you
Life
just have
and
to go to
Science.
their website to.
Oh, and this
sign
is what I have, Christy. It's the reference guide for essential oils. Why do
Yeah.
they look different? Weird.
Maybe mine's not updated or something. I don't know.
No, it
Yeah,
wouldn't
mine
open.
looks like yours, Ash.
Yeah.
So will that be more compliant then? Will it be the
Yes,
same?
I find that,
It's
well,
the
I find
same.
I like my books better, but I always like books better than anything technical.
It's less information.
It's less info
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
It's a quick guide, right? Like
Really
Jamie said,
fast.
if someone's like, what do I do for
Yep.
my, like, pain in my knee, you can
Yeah.
literally look up pain.
Speaking of a quick guide, they do have this as well at Life and Science that literally is just a quick guide. It's broken up into like sections, like quick tips for oils and benefits. So improve your physical wellness, your emotional state, little ones, and then it just goes through and tells you body care for little kids, like that kind of thing. I mean, it just kind of sappy minerals. It kind of goes over everything, personal care, men's care, CBD. And it gives you some really good recipes. So anyway, this is another Life and Science, a tiny little one. This would be a really fun one to give to someone, like, let's say somebody uses your referral or decides to join Young Living because you've been chit-chatting about it and you want to just give them a little welcome gift. This is adorable and would be super fun to give somebody.
That's an excellent one. Yeah.
Yeah, and what a good idea. We used to do that. Every time someone would enroll, we would give them information, give them
Yeah, I want people to be as excited as me.
Yeah.
He is excited, but also like Annie and I, our uplines did such a good job of helping us understand we had a responsibility
Yeah.
to help educate the people we enrolled.
Yep.
Because we wanted them to get the use out of the oils and to experience, the benefits like we were. And if all we say is, oh, use this for a wonderful aromatic experience,
Yeah, not
people
helpful.
are not gonna get it.
Well, and you guys, sometimes people go to like the Young Living website and they're like, why does all of their descriptions sound so weird and so
They're
woo-woo?"
just vague because they
They
can't
have to be
explain all
because
of
they're
it.
not allowed to say what they're actually used for. So everything is like good for your skin and great for your spiritual wellness. And like they're gonna sound woo-woo because they're not allowed to say what it's actually
Yeah.
used
And
for.
we're like, listen, pour 4 drops of this in your mouth and you'll be cured. But
I literally just told someone this morning, I'm like, you know what I would do? 4 drops of lemongrass with a little carrier oil in a capsule. Take that once a day.
yeah, I mean, we're little pharmacists over here. But that's because we have our books, you guys, and because we had experience, because we got confident in getting into our books and being like, okay, I'm going to put this on my kid and the strep is going to go away. And it freaking did.
Yeah.
4 times, like it's amazing. Okay. Another one that I really like on the same idea is what Jamie was showing. It's a little bigger. Okay. But it's lovely.
Ooh, I need that.
It's called the Essentials book. It's if you go to hello-essentials.com, you can shop this book. It is big. It's gorgeous, like a magazine. It goes through all of the Young Living product lines. So like, even if you're like, what even does Young Living have? It's almost like a catalog, but it has so much information in it and little recipes and stuff for kids' oils and just everything. And it's beautiful. So this is a really good one. I think it's $15 for this big one. And then they have a mini version that you can get in a pack of like 10 or something.
That's
or 5.
So to be specific, Ashley, can you look up headache in there or not?
There is no index where you can alphabetically look through things. No, but they do have the section on our favorite recipes. And there's an itch stick and a hand sanitizer and a dry shampoo and a face mist, and a menstrual roller and a tiny teeth roller. So you'll probably
kind of saying it in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's in here, but it's not, like I said, if you want something that you're like, I want to make this my medicine cabinet, you need this. You need one of these.
Yes.
This is a really nice starting point for somebody who's like, wants to see what the oils can possibly do. So send it to a new member or a friend or have it on your
almost looks like a coffee table book or something.
It's so lovely. I really love this little book.
The other thing that's nice about some of these books that you're showing additionally is like the idea that you can put oils in a roller bottle. These don't necessarily do all of that, right? Like
more creative.
Yes, more creative.
Yeah.
Different ways you can use them. Yeah.
If you want something pretty and very basic, that's a good idea. If you want to get really nitty gritty, get a really big reference guide.
Mm-hmm.
Another story about how we started.
Yeah. But
Annie, what was like one of your first issues that you were dealing with where you're like, I really need to see if there's an oil that I can use for this?
Okay, so the very first one was when my son was having a reaction to a well baby checkup that we were at. He was a young child, or like, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years old, and he had some mandatory vaccinations going on. And so we went there, and it was like clockwork. Every 2 weeks or so after we were at the well baby check, my son would get these terrible like hives all over his body, and he wasn't able to breathe. And so they'd put him on azithromycin, they'd put him on steroids, his nebulizer, like all of this stuff to kind of like try to help him. And I'm just, 24 years old, and I didn't have any education or whatever. And we were at Thanksgiving, and my upline was there, who was also an RN. And Caden could not breathe. His lips were turning blue, and he was coughing terribly. And we were ready to go to the ER. And my aunt came in with peppermint, eucalyptus, and thieves and put him on his feet, and he stopped coughing. His body calmed down, and we didn't have to go to the ER. And I held on to those 3 oils, and I was like, you are not taking these oils from me. I am keeping them. Sign me up, take my money. I didn't care, because I was so hopeless. And when those oils were put on him, like my whole life changed, and I wanted all the info. I wanted all the oils, and yeah, so that was my first story. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that story. I love that story so much.
Mhm.
Too.
Mhm.
Everything.
Yes.
Powerful.
Yes.
Can I talk about speaking of babies and children?
Yes.
Okay, Jamie, you can hold yours up. Is yours the
Oh, yeah, I
different
got the old
version?
school.
I got the old
So,
one. Yep.
This book, okay, so we're gonna maybe go into more specialty topics now, possibly. So this book is all about, it's called Gentle Babies. Jamie's got the old one. I have the old and the new one. And it's the original essential oils and baby book is what it says here. So this is for pregnancy, baby, postpartum, lactation, kids, the whole gamut. Honestly, if you have a body, you probably want this book, but really good for moms and babies. Okay. So you can look stuff up: fertility, fever, fever for children, fever for mom, fever for babies. Like it goes all down in there. Labor and delivery oils, emotional oils, postpartum depression oils, oils to boost your milk supply. I mean, like urinary tract infection oils, like all of it in
Yeah.
So
here.
I have a story.
Okay, go ahead.
So you actually, Ashley, at a Young Living convention once listened to the author.
Yeah.
Deborah Rayburn is the author. She's a Royal Crown Diamond at Young Living, and she's an herbalist, and she's an awesome lady.
She's great.
But you had listened to her speak, and my boys, but mostly Judah, at the time had something called molluscum contagiosa. That's the official.
Yes.
It sounds like a
So-
magic spell, first of all.
It's
Yeah,
I know,
Harry
right?
Potter vibes
It's
for
not
sure.
very magical. It's actually the opposite of magical. It's pretty evil. And if you've ever dealt with this, we took him to the pediatrician, and they said, oh, it has to run its course. It's a virus. It'll take between 2 to 4 years to clear up.
Yeah.
They'll just have to live with it. And I was like, I don't like that. That does not seem like a very good answer. I'm going to go ask someone else. That's a terrible answer.
Love that.
Because it's extremely contagious, and you can spread it to your friends. It can spread through the pool water. It can spread through baths, which is why his brother ended up getting
And
it.
it's like irritating, like it's itchy.
Yeah, it's little bumps all over. So he had this rash all over, all the way down through his pelvis area, his leg, everything. It was on his whole body. And I'm like, I'm not waiting 2 to 4 years for it to run its course. That's ridiculous. So I did try a bunch of oils that did not end up working, but I was like just trying stuff. And then Ashley, you went and listened
So
to
you had
this.
told me this like 2 days before, and then I get to listen to her,
Yes.
Deborah Rayburn, speak at convention. And she was like, I mean, literally, if you hear
Yeah.
this woman speak, it's like, you're like, could you slow down? I need to put her
Yeah.
on like half speed, because she's just like, brr. So she's going and talking, people are asking questions. And she goes, oh, and by the way, if you have the molluscum contagiosum, you're going to use lemon myrtle. Wasn't it lemon myrtle?
Yeah, lemon
You're gonna
myrtle.
put lemon myrtle on the spots, they'll go away. And then just like kept on going. And I was like, I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing. I think that's
That's
the
what
thing that my
Jesus
nephews have. And so I think I texted her right away and was like, I think I heard Deborah
Yeah.
Rayburn like fire breathe this out, but I don't really know if that's what she said. So try it.
Well, and so I
Oh.
did. And I figured out really quickly that lemon myrtle's hot, so we had to
Yes.
include it.
Absolutely.
But I put it on him, and you guys, 2 months, not 2 years, and not 4 years.
Hey,
2 months later, it was
Yes.
completely gone.
The best.
And I was just like, this is magic.
did you put it in a spray bottle or something, or you just
No, I
dabbed it on?
just did a roller. I just did a roller bottle and I just rolled it all over.
Oh,
Rolled it on him. That's it.
So the power of community, this just speaks to me
Yeah.
because we cannot do oils on an island unto ourselves, right?
No.
No,
Yeah.
be in conversation with the person who enrolled you
Yeah.
or in a group where people are talking about it or
Yep.
wherever you can find. The other beautiful thing is when you're in this community, you find the most amazing resources. So Annie, the one she was talking about who helped her with her son, the RN, she's a naturopath doctor. She has amazing resources. Sherry Cox, she's our upline. She's a diamond. My son was dealing with an incredible gastrointestinal thing. He was young, he was like 7. I could not figure it out. We switched some things up in his diet, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, long story short, the community of people are important. So we knew we could go to Sherry and she could do some testing on him. And literally because she just has this intuition, she's been using the oils now for a while. She was like, oh, I think that Owen might be struggling with XYZ. I don't even remember what she said, but I feel like it was a bacteria. She said, Digize. If he'll take capsules, a couple of drops of lemongrass in a capsule. And I feel like there was one other thing, but I can't remember. And then she gave me some dietary things to switch up. But literally, he'd been dealing with it for weeks. Bad indigestion, diarrhea, like icky stuff, like burning in his chest. And within 3 days of doing the lemongrass and the Digize on his gut and up and down his stomach, gone. All the symptoms were gone. And so the beauty of our community, you guys, when you enroll someone, get them involved in the community because the resources are so rich and plentiful and somebody knows something or knows someone who can help. It's amazing.
Life-changing.
yes,
Mhm.
yes. And
Um,
also take responsibility when you've enrolled someone, like we said, like really take them under your wing, bring your book over there, ask them, what are some things that I can look up? I mean, it starts to get addicting and fun and they'll be taking pictures and buy them a book. Like, don't be afraid to invest in somebody who trusted you with their health, with their
And
wellness.
also don't be afraid to share it because you think, well, I don't know enough to help someone.
Yes.
You don't need to buy them a book.
Yes.
And
Yes.
using oils. Like you don't have to be an expert before you start sharing and getting your friends involved in this.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
The only other thing that I wanted to mention, which is kind of a nerd out kind of a resource, but very valid and valuable, are actual studies that are being done and have been done on essential oils. So like this morning, I had someone reach out to me, Christy, I have this going on. And literally I wasn't going to go to Pinterest, right? I go to, okay, I'm going to put the issue in the Google search with essential oils. So essential oils and XYZ. Usually it will bring up for you an PubMed studies about an oil and how they used it and how they studied it with a particular issue. So it's like when you're reading them, it's very sciencey. It's some things you won't understand, but
they're research.
they're research studies. They're
good.
amazing. And that is where you can get like the true non-compliant, like, oh, that we're using frankincense for the big C and this is what it's doing. Like,
right. Or like we're using Melaleuca for, what's that big bad hospital bacteria that people get?
MRSA.
MRSA. Yeah. Like those kinds of things, like this oil is just as effective as the treatment modalities we're using in the hospital. Just nobody knows it.
Yeah.
So it's really good for those personalities who want the research. If that's you, or if it's somebody that you know, like get into PubMed.
Yes.
PubMed or Google Scholar. Those are the two.
And then
places.
this one too, Christy.
Yes. Yeah.
I've never opened it, but Christy has.
Some of us just blindly believe, and some of us need proof.
If you understand this image, then yes.
And you need this
Then
book.
you want that book. Didn't he write one about history of oils?
Yeah,
in
I
the
have that
Bible?
one. History, biblical history.
He's
or
a
whatever.
good author.
Yeah.
So good. Can I show like rapid fire show a couple of my favorite specialty books?
Yeah, please.
I don't want to like go too long, but okay. So if you want deep dive information on hormones, Taming the Dragon Within, it's a little book, but it's wonderful for all hormonal issues. You can get that. Well, I don't know if you can get that at Life Science anymore, but you can look
You
on
can get it at
Amazon.
growinghealthyhomes.com.
Growing Healthy Homes has a lot of these. So is it just growinghealthyhomes.com? Okay, another one, if you want pretty recipes and inspiration for like, I mean, it is non-compliant info. It's just not like reference guide info. It's just like, here's the recipe for whatever thing. So this is called Oil and Glass. I think you can get this one at Growing Healthy Homes. If you want to be a complete nerd and learn about cleanses, like cleansing your body, all your body systems, this book, I always like to show how thick things are. This book is a wealth. I mean, look at notes galore. It's a wealth of information about cleansing. And it's weird. It's called Inner Transformations Using Essential Oils. You would never think it was a cleansing book, but it is. This one used to be Life Science, but I think now it could be Growing Healthy Homes, or you could try Amazon. Sorry, last one, maybe. Information on emotional release with essential oils. Guys, this is big. If you bought oils for anxiety, stressing out, depression, all the things, this book is amazing for helping you clear that. It's like a map. It's like a roadmap for how to clear your emotions. So much info.
Yeah.
Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils. I don't know where you can get this one either now.
You can Google it, and she even has her own Caroline Mean or Mine.
Yeah, MEIN.
Yeah, so just Google it. It'll come up on one of the
sites.
That reminds me, there's an app called Healing. Oh no, let's see what it's
Yes, Jamie.
Feelings Never Die, right?
Yeah, but the app's called Feelings something. I
Feelings.
don't remember what the actual app is called, but it's Feelings Never Buried.
Feelings
I've
Buried
never,
Alive Never Die or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really good. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna look it up in the store so I can tell you.
Called Zombie Feelings, everyone. So I don't know.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Christy
I
got
think
it.
it's called Healing Feelings.
That's the app.
Yeah, Healing Feelings or something like that.
And then Christy, what about that oils testimonial website?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a website. Sorry, I just took over, but I have it written down. That's why. It's
Oh.
oil-testimonials.com. That's the website. Christy, tell them what it does.
Yeah, no, we mentioned that this is a good one that we started using in the early days because
Yeah.
people were writing testimonies of things that were happening, and they were compiling them
Crazy.
in this website, oiltestimonials.com. It still exists. You can go in and find testimonies. I think there's a paid version. I don't have the paid version, but I can still find lots of really good testimonies
Mhm.
on, like, if I have, gout, like random things.
It's
Random things that people ask you about, and you're like, well, here's a testimony.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So yeah, it's good. It's good.
yeah, it's great.
What else were we gonna mention? Anything else, Ashley? Any other specialty books?
Well, go ahead, Jamie.
I was gonna say, didn't you have a supplement book?
Yeah,
'Cause
I did. I was
another
trying
one.
to hold it together because I have so many, but okay. Jen O'Sullivan, she is a Young Living member, but she's like got a lot of naturopathic background. I don't know exactly what it is. She's very good. She's excellent. And she has written a few books. And so her website is 31oils.com. And a couple of the books that I would recommend to you, one is called French Aromatherapy. There are a few different ways to practice aromatherapy. One is German, one is English, and one is French. I don't know. French is the most liberal, I would say. We put the oils in our mouth, we put the oils on our body and in the air. And French aromatherapy is a certain technique of using oils. So this teaches you that. It is, if you're like, I just need to get an aromatherapy license before I can use this. Okay, no, don't do that. Just get this book. Okay. You don't need a whole like certification. If you want to really go into it, this is so good. The Essential Oil Truth is another good one by her. Facts Without the Hype. So good. And then if you love supplements, Young Living supplements are so good. And we could have a whole talk on that, but they're impeccable. They're wonderful. And this whole book has every single supplement Young Living has, a giant page on all the things about it, and then a bunch of protocols. I'm actually going through the adrenal rescue protocol right now, and I'm feeling so good. So this is a really good book also by her.
I don't have that one, but I want that.
Oh, you need to get it. This
want
one,
that.
like when I have mamas come to me with like hormonal questions or can I use this in pregnancy or whatever, this is the book I go to now.
Okay,
because she's so thorough.
okay, awesome.
So supplements desk reference. This is the second edition. I think that's the newest.
Beautiful, beautiful. So 31 oil. We will write this in the
We need to write
caption,
it out.
whatever.
Oh, good idea.
The one thing I did want to mention though about I think every single resource that we have mentioned is Young Living specific.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have a community of people that are brilliant, people who write books, people who give, they spend their time, putting their knowledge into resources. And every single thing we've mentioned is Young Living specific. So you're going to find Young Living blends and Young Living singles and all of our supplements, like all these things. You can, of course, find essential oil reference guides that are just, in general. You can find them anywhere. Amazon, you can find them at the bookstore, you can find them, you'll run into them everywhere. Those are like because I'm a Young Living user, I always gravitate toward the Young Living specific guides. The information to me is I don't know, so much more useful. It has, so
I mean, they have more than everything you need. I mean, they're so
Yeah.
thorough with their guides that
Yes.
I don't ever find a need to go anywhere else.
And
Well,
I guess I want to, go ahead, Jamie.
Because Young Living promotes and practices the French aromatherapy,
Yes.
sometimes you'll find these other resources and they're telling you not to do things
Yes.
Yeah.
that Young Living is saying to do. And it's because they're following a totally different philosophy
Of
with the
oil.
oils. And so
Yes.
that's another reason why I stick with the Young Living resources or French aromatherapy specific resources,
Yeah.
because otherwise you're going to feel like, well, they say we're not allowed to do this. And I
Yeah,
mean,
I can't put that in my mouth.
hate Young Living because you guys told us to put thieves on our feet
Yeah.
or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can
So-
kind of get in your head a little bit and then you get scared of your oils, which is not useful.
Yeah.
The other thing about it is you'll be disappointed because you will not find, like, for instance, Digest itself is an
Magic.
amazing blend that you can use for so many things.
Mhm.
If you get a non-Young Living specific resource, you're never going to find our blends or anything in there, right? So you might have to mix up ginger and
Fennel
turmeric
and-
and cardamom and like go down the list. You might have to like they might tell you to use 5 oils in a blend that we have in Digest that's already done for you. So it saves you time and it helps you in the long run, I think, too, to get Young Living specific resources. So
Yes.
Yeah.
wow, that was
It makes me excited. I love it. I love all this.
no,
Fun.
so good.
All right, friends.
All right. We'll see ya.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
And we'll try to have a compiled list at some
Yes.
point. Okay.
Sounds
All right, bye.